with that application, we went through the necessary formula to come up with the 39 cents a square foot. All right. Table 2.1 shows basically the total acreage, and one of the things that we found interesting is that the fire district boundaries pretty much are coterminous with the UVAP area. All right, and so there was some data that was available. Not all the data. You have not yet adopted a UVAP report, so we had to fall back on some previous reports in order to collect information on this. But about 14.88%, if you look at the existing zoning in the area, is available for development. And Table 2.2 shows the housing unit development within your particular land use categories. Table 2.3 shows the commercial and industrial capabilities under your existing land use codes, and we calculated that in the terms of available square feet of improvement, all right? Along with looking at a historical floor area ratio and things of this sort. Table 3.1 shows you basically the existing equipment that the fire district has at present, future and also future purchases, which we're looking at. And one would be a pumper, another is a water tender, right? We're also looking at future fire stations that would serve the needs of the service area of Ukiah Valley Fire District, and that's indicated on Table 3.1 as well. All right. Basically, 3.2, Table 3.2 will show you how we derive the 39 cents a square foot, along with Table, let me see if I can get that handy here. I'm sorry, it is Table 3.2 shows you the derivation of the 39 cents a square foot. And as Chief Grable described, that there will be an admin fee on that. And I'd like to say that our fee was not that expensive, considering the square footage that it's going to require to recoup it. But we were the low bid on the project. But it's basically in line with other fee programs that we have done. We just completed one for the entire unincorporated area of San Diego County, and believe me, it was much, much higher. But we deeply appreciated working with Chief Grable and his staff, his board members, and we feel that this is, going to set the trend in a certain way for Mendocino County. And again, we appreciate your foresight in adopting the ordinance that allows us to go forward. And I'm available to answer any questions that you might have after your discussion. Thank you.
Before we go to questions, I need to go to the clerk to establish proper notice for this.
Yes, we do have proper notice.
And to confirm that I did open the public hearing. So I will now take questions from the board to the staff. Supervisor Pinches.
Just still confusing in my mind, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience, and the listening audience here today. What is the process? How can these mitigation fees be imposed by this 5-member board, which 3 of us don't even reside in this area that's affected, without going through Prop 218? I mean, it's, to have a vote of the people and have the 2/3 threshold for a tax increase. Can you explain to this how this whole process is weaved around that?
Supervisor Pinches, yes. Basically, the development impact fees, which is what they're commonly referred to, are under the provision of the government code, and that was subject to was it AB 1600, which was adopted in the mid to late 90s, and it gave you, the governing body, the authority to pass impact fees over unincorporated areas. There are some instances, and it's a little quirk in the law, because fire districts don't within themselves have the ability to adopt a development impact fee by state law. Other agencies do, oddly enough. Some community services districts and things of this sort do have the ability to adopt a development impact fee if they provide services such as sewer systems, water systems, that type thing. But there's a little quirk in the law that does not allow the fire districts to adopt their own fee. They have to go through the process of having their board adopt the fee, take it to the Board of Supervisors, which is the governing body for the entire county, and you basically give the blessing to the fee, basically. And that's how it's. I wish I could explain a little bit more. I'm not an attorney, and maybe county counsel can assist with that.
No, he's exactly right. And what this board did a couple of years ago is that we adopted an ordinance that allowed for this process to go forward in a way, in an effort to assist the fire districts in collecting fees.
To the staff, if these fees were to be changed, will this come back to us for affirmation of those changes?
Any increase in the fee will have to come back to you.
Increase?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And to the staff also, Chief Grable, you mentioned you had some concerns from the public. You made some changes not to exceed 500 square feet, et cetera. That also includes like re-roofing, building permits, correct? And say major plumbing repairs that might need a building permit, those type of things?
Actually, the county ordinance exempted those.
Okay.
So we're not even allowed to, we don't even see permits for repair and maintenance. We're going to see the permits for added square footage and remodeling of existing structures.
Okay, thank you very much. Sir?
Mr. Supervisor, I might clarify that other point. Any categorical increase to the fee would have to come before you. The fee, though, does include an inflation adjustment, and it's basically tied to an index. And whatever that index is per year, basically it's called the engineering use record cost of living increase. That is basically an administerial increase for the fee, and it does not have to come before the board. Okay. But anything beyond that would have to come to the board for approval.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from the board to staff? Supervisor?
Yeah, I have several questions, actually. What is the operating budget existing for the fire district?
We're right at $1 million, including what we call the Measure B special tax. Yeah,
you say your parcel tax, your regular tax income is 28% of your budget?
Yeah, and that's 3 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, and your parcel tax is 62% of your budget?
Yes.
What is your parcel tax? Is it the maximum authority that you have?
Yes, $50 per unit. It is max. It was max after following 218, and it's $50 per unit. 2 units per home equals $100.
And that's 62% of your
exactly.
Yeah, I was looking up. You have a revenue operating balance of $330,000.
You know, Mr. Pinches, remember when you look at the auditor's funds, so if you look at Ucali Valley's fund, that's simply the money that we have in the county treasurer on that day that you look.
Yeah, I understand that.
So it's a checking account for us.